So now that I've got you thinking differently about your pain, let's start to put it into practice. Here are 5 things you can do to help yourself unlearn pain. Number 1, start to recognize unhealthy thoughts and feelings that ruminate in your mind and body. Thoughts are nerve impulses too and trigger physiological, real body reactions that can work for you or against you. Thoughts like, I'll never get better, or this is helpless, or I'm not normal, stupid body, why me? These are all breeding grounds for pain messages to get stronger and more precise. Healing requires that you save some space to love yourself during the process. You wouldn't be frustrated at someone else who was in pain, so why would you be frustrated at yourself for going through the same thing? Instead, replace unhealthy thoughts with, I'm sore but I'm safe, or hurt doesn't equal harm, or I'm bouncing back. In order to help you identify unhealthy thoughts or other triggers in your life that tip the scale towards danger, write them down, reflect on them, start to pay attention. Remember, for pain to persist, it's about the context of the situation that either dials up or dials down the sensitivity of your nerves. We're constantly faced with chronic daily stressors in our life. It's not necessarily that stress is bad for us, but it's the way we react that will dictate the impact it makes on our lives and our health. When you're stressed, freaked out, and just don't know what else to do, your brain can release some pretty powerful substances that amp up inflammation more than we actually need to heal, and for this reason, among many others, can influence your pain. Sometimes we don't even realize it until it's brought to our attention, which is why awareness and recognition is the first step to be able to change some of these ingrained behavioral habits and patterns we've come to develop over time. I'd recommend using an app called the Protectometer or invest in the book called Explain Pain Handbook. These tools are extremely helpful for helping you work through some of the dangers or triggers that are sometimes not so obvious to see. All right, number 2, establish a mindfulness meditation practice. There's a ton of research supporting the benefits of meditation on pain and recovery. Meditation will help you tune into those unwanted feelings, and you'll learn how to accept these feelings without judging yourself or reacting to these thought viruses. The less you resist or fight the feelings that come up for you, the calmer your mind will be, creating an environment of safety instead of danger. And whenever this happens, the body automatically relaxes, letting its guard down, lessening your pain. Down-regulating an overprotective and overly sensitive nervous system will be key to turning up the volume on safety. All right, number 3, when we're in pain, we tend to stop doing the things we love, either because we feel we might make things worse, or maybe someone told us not to do it because it could make things worse. Whatever the case may be, know that movement is totally your friend and not your enemy. Motion is lotion, guys, and movement is the best analgesic medicine you have, without the side effects, of course. Movement unlocks the brain's drug cabinet and releases anti-inflammatory substances to calm sensitized nerves, which is the case with pelvic pain. So movement is necessary to lubricate our bodies and allows our parts to function. Think about how effortless your eyelids slide on your eyes and how your joints and tendons glide. I mean, even sex would be difficult without lubrication. When you move, you produce more lubricant, but stress can decrease your lubricant, which is why movement is essential to feeling better, not just for your body, but for your mind too. All right, number 4, start having some fun. Having fun will improve your bioplasticity and turn down the volume on pain. In fact, distraction is the most powerful analgesic of all. Have you ever noticed a time when you're really engaged in an activity, or maybe on vacation or watching a good movie, that the pain is just not there? That's because you were distracted and the brain was focused on something entirely else than your pain. It's the cheapest and the best pain reducer I know. Paying attention to these moments will allow you to discover safeties you didn't even know existed. The more of these you can recognize, the more convinced you'll be that pain is produced in your brain. And lastly, you are what you eat. Your gut communicates directly with your brain, which means your gut health can impact your mood, your concentration, mental resistance, and you guessed it, pain. It's not uncommon for people to be on lots of medications, such as antibiotics, which can disrupt the bacteria that live in your gut. We all have good bugs and bad bugs that live in our gut and are necessary for our health. When this balance gets altered, the body works really hard to bring it back into check. Altered gut bacteria can lead to things like anxiety, pain, weakened immune system, and bowel issues, just to name a few. The overall stress load on the body will determine whether your body's ecosystem is in balance or not. So things like, your environment, work, home, trauma, abuse, genetics, whether or not there's a perceived threat, and let's face it, with pelvic pain, there's almost always a sense of that. We're dealing with your private parts. And all of these can induce fear and hopelessness, which alters this dynamic balance. Other factors like, antibiotics, history of infections, they can all contribute to the bigger picture and ultimately create the perfect storm. So heal your gut by adding some more whole foods into your diet and limiting things like sugar, dairy, alcohol, caffeine, and gluten. Also make sure you're having regular bowel movements and chew your food thoroughly. Your stomach doesn't have teeth. This also forces you to eat mindfully, stimulating the rest and digest process of your body. Eating when you're distracted or not relaxed can impact your digestion. So there you have it, my recipe to help you navigate out of pain. If this all seems overwhelming, go ahead and just take a deep breath. Just sit with this information for a bit. How do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece. All right, I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video.